This meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority will come to order. City Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Authority Member Bradish.
Here.
Authority Member Gunya.
Here.
Authority Member Cole.
Here.
Authority Member Odell. Authority Member Mather.
Here.
Authority Member Levere.
Here.
Authority Member Peterson.
Here.
Next item of business is the approval of this agenda. Any comments from the authority? Any questions?
No.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, approval of minutes for the regular meeting from April 10th. Everyone's had a copy of the minutes and a chance to review them. Are there any questions or corrections?
I'll make the motion that it be approved as submitted.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item of business, item number 10A, Tavern Littleton, doing business as Tavern Littleton. No stipulation was reached. We do have a request for continuance. Good evening.
James Bimeford, appearing on behalf of Tavern Littleton. After discussing this with Tricia McCarthy, who's going to be prosecuting the case, I think it's my motion, but I think we both agreed that we're pretty close. We're pretty hopeful we can resolve this if we have a little more time. And so that's the main reason for the request for continuance, making progress, I think.
The city concurs with the city's own request for the same continuance?
Yes, I've spoken with the prosecutor. She has no objection, and the city has no objection as well.
I think that's fine. I have no problem. I do want to ask if, for some reason, a stipulation can't be reached. I know that you had brought up the issue about some of the evidence last time. If, I guess this is maybe a question for other board members as much as you, but if a stipulation weren't able to be reached and you intended to submit a motion regarding that evidence, I'm wondering if it would be best to ask for a date when that would happen before the next hearing?
Well, I guess my assumption, and I'm open to anything, and we can discuss it with the prosecutor, that we would maybe brief that or present motions and argue it at the preliminary hearing.
Yeah, and I guess I just mean assuming that it would be your motion, and if you were to present that at the preliminary hearing, I'm assuming that the prosecutor would want the ability to respond. I'm assuming. So I guess I wouldn't want, if there was no stipulation reached, we end up at the preliminary hearing and you submit a motion and then the prosecutor says, I'd like to be able to respond, and then I just don't want to go another month, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure, and if you want to, it might be hard in that I think the issues are pretty narrow. And maybe if you would want, we could file it a week before the preliminary hearing.
Or, I mean, a week, or I don't know what Trish would, or even a few working days.
I think a week would be more than sufficient for them.
Would that be acceptable to you?
Yeah, sure.
See if I understand your question. You want to know if it's decided that there isn't a stipulation reached, then we would, instead of having a preliminary hearing, we would have the show cause hearing.
No. I just mean that at the last meeting, he brought up the issue of the portable breathalyzer as evidence, and indicated, what would seem to be a possible motion down the road to try to exclude that evidence. And if that's the case, I would just want the prosecutor to be able to see that motion so that she could respond, so that we could have both of them at a preliminary hearing, decide it then, so that we don't go an extra month.
Well, I think the place for that motion is the show cause hearing.
rather than the preliminary hearing?
The purpose of the preliminary meeting has just got to do with the stipulation.
Your rules say that motions are handled at the preliminary hearing. And I think Mr. Beinfer would like to know whether or not he's going to have to present a case where that evidence is going to be included or excluded. I think that probably, I don't want to speak for you, but I would think you'd want that matter
and I think
settled.
giving it to the city attorney a week ahead of time is only fair.
Okay, and I want to speak for the other members, so I mean, I would want to hear what you think. I want to make sure that we don't get down there and then all of a sudden we move it another month unnecessarily. That's
Well,
I understand your
let me-
question.
Let me, I'm against the continuation. I do not see a reason for a continuation except we couldn't agree. Give us 30 more days. In 30 days, we couldn't agree. Give us 30 more days. The stipulation, they've had 30 days to come in and agree to a stipulation, and they haven't done it. And I personally don't see a reason for the continuation. And what I'm hearing also is, well, maybe at the preliminary hearing, we'll have a show cause hearing number 1, and then we'll, if we don't like it, we'll go to a show cause hearing number 2. And no, my personal opinion is there's no reason for the continuation. And it sounds like they want a continuation so they can go to a show cause hearing. And I think we ought to go on and go to the show cause hearing for it.
Well, I stated in my motion the sole reason for the continuance is a better opportunity to resolve this without a show cause hearing.
Why should I believe you're going to resolve it in the next 30 days when you haven't in the last 30?
Because we're negotiating, there's a lot of parties involved, and it just hasn't been able to be accomplished in that period of time. And I think both the city attorney and I are both hopeful with a little more time and get the right people to sit down and talk that we have a pretty good chance of resolving it. But we couldn't get it done in the last 30 days.
Well, I'm sure if I gave you a year, you might be able to sit down and resolve it too.
I don't think if we can't resolve it in the next 30 days, we're not going to resolve it.
Well, if you couldn't resolve it in 30 days, I still don't understand why I should believe you can resolve it in the next 30.
Based on both of our experience and what the issues we have, I think both myself and the city attorney have a good faith belief we can resolve this. If we can't, we'll go forward.
It's 3-3.
And it's not a show cause 1 and show cause 2. There's some serious evidentiary issues that I think we deserve an opportunity to discuss before we go to the show cause.
Why?
We have a statute that says PBTs, if they're admitted in a certain way, are not admissible in a criminal or civil proceeding.
I understand that, and why shouldn't we just go to show cause hearing and hear that and dissolve it once and for all?
If we can't, that'll be up to you at the preliminary hearing to rule on the evidence, and then we'll know before the show cause hearing.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, if I may, your rules do allow for the parties to request a continuance at this. I mean, it's contemplated that this would occur, and I think we can represent to you that we are going to negotiate, that the prosecutor intends to negotiate in good faith for the next 30 days, and we would not come back before you for another continuance.
I understand that the rules allow for it. I also understand that the rules allow for it to come to the board and the board to vote it up or vote it down.
Yes.
Okay. And all I'm saying is I have not heard anything that would convince me that next 30 days is going to solve anything the last 30 days didn't. And from my viewpoint, I don't see any reason not to vote it down and go on and go to a show cause.
Understood.
I have the opposite opinion, and I think there's no reason to deny the continuance. I'd like to hear what other authority members say about that.
I approve the continuance. I'm okay with giving them another 30 days.
May I ask for clarification? So if we do a continuance, if they come back in 30 days and could they possibly have a stipulation and then we don't have the pre-hearing, we don't go to a show cause, is that right?
So the way this procedure would work is that we would continue it to June, and at the June hearing, we either would present to you a stipulation for your consideration, which you would either vote up or down, or we would, I'm assuming, have arguments on the admissibility of the PBT evidence with the intention that we would then have a show cause hearing in July.
Okay, so the hope is that we do have a stipulation at that point in time, and that everything should be pretty much worked out when it comes back to us in June.
Yes.
The board has the opportunity to look at that step and see if we agree or disagree or tweak. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I would call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the continuation until next month.
I'll second the motion. Discussion?
I think we had discussion.
Got it.
We can have a discussion before we vote. Would you poll the authority, please?
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
No.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Authority Member Lavier?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
So I don't want to belabor the point, but I don't know that, I don't think we need a motion if you're okay getting that, if you don't reach a stipulation and you still want to do a motion about the evidence.
We'll file it. We
Okay.
can advance with the city attorney's office.
That'd be great. And
It's not necessarily a 30-day continuance. It's up to a 30-day continuance.
To the next board meeting, and then we would file 1 week before the next board meeting.
okay, I appreciate that.
And thanks for bringing it up. I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you. We'll see you next month. Thanks.
Thank you. Next item of business, 10B, Rocky Incorporated, doing business as Super Discount Liquors. Once again, we have a continuance request.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, you do have in front of you an entry of appearance and a motion to postpone the preliminary and show cause hearings that was filed by Jerome Porter. This evening in the audience is a Clifton, sorry if I mispronounce it, Hipsher, who has indicated to me that he represents the licensee. I don't have other than him making his entry of appearance here with the client who is the licensee for Rockies. We have spoken. I'm going to let Mr. Hipsher come up and explain a little bit what's going on. It's a little confusing.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You may remember me from a few years ago. I was here.
I do.
What was your name again, please?
It's Clifton Hipsher. And Mr. Dong, or Rocky, as he's known by most people in the area, came to me last week and asked me to represent him in this case. Apparently, Mr. Porter had a death in the family or a close friend and was out of town. Mr. Dong tried to contact him and was unable to do so. And so because this hearing was coming up, he didn't know that there was a motion to continue or anything like that. Because this hearing was coming up, he came and retained me. So it's my understanding that Mr. Porter had put in a motion to continue. It was the suggestion of the clerk and the deputy city attorney that you consider that motion, set the matter over if you so desire, and that after that I would take over. I've had 2 or 3 calls in to Ms. McCarthy. I haven't gotten anything back. I would anticipate that this is a matter that is best settled, so I think by the next preliminary hearing we would probably have a stipulation for the licensing authority.
So will you represent the licensee, or will the
I
other
would be
attorney?
representing him here forward, and he's here if you'd like to question him. Since I don't have a substitution of counsel, which is the normal procedure, but Mr. Porter is apparently not available to execute a substitution.
Question for the city attorney. Is there anything we should be concerned about since the motion was submitted by a different lawyer?
Well, and that's what I talked with Mr. Hipsher about, is that I'd like to go ahead and rule on this motion so that we do have that month in there to get the attorneys appropriately listed on the record for this licensee. So I think it would be appropriate for the authority to go ahead and rule on this motion and allow the new attorney to enter his appearance and then begin negotiations or continue negotiations on behalf of the licensee with Ms. McCarthy.
I'm sorry for the loss of your uncle.
No,
That's the other attorney.
Excuse me?
That's the other attorney.
The other one. My uncle, I saw him 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's alive and kicking.
He's never flown a helicopter.
If I may, in the interest of full disclosure, and speaking with Mr. Hipsher before the hearing, this motion would continue the preliminary hearing to June and then the show cause hearing to July. And it's my understanding Mr. Hipsher will be out of the country in July should this go to a show cause hearing. So there likely would be another continuance if he were retained as counsel at that time and it were to proceed to a show cause hearing.
Only if we were to go to the show cause. But as I said, I would anticipate it, that this is a good case to settle. Can't say more than that because I haven't talked to Ms. McCarthy, but
I have a question.
So you feel like you're not able to negotiate a stipulation at this time?
I haven't talked to anybody. I called her 3 times and I've not gotten a call back. So
Well, and this would be, if we don't pass the motion to continue, that tonight would be before tonight would have been the last opportunity, right?
Right,
To negotiate a stipulation.
right.
Is there a possibility that if he comes back in June, that there would be a stip as well on this one?
Yes.
And then it wouldn't go any further than that?
Correct. And my understanding of why there wasn't a stipulation is because of the death in the attorney's family. He's been unavailable to negotiate that.
I see. Thank you.
I would be in favor of granting the motion, and obviously, wouldn't like to see us go all the way to August, but I think that procedurally, I think we need to give, treat the licensees the same one, and then give them the opportunity to negotiate in good faith. So I would be in favor of granting it.
Is there anyone here from Super Discount Liquor themselves?
is the owner here?
Can he speak? Or is he willing to? Good evening. Do you understand the proposal going to a preliminary hearing and then a show cause hearing?
Yeah, I understand, and according, I read the paper, and I agree with that. Could you please postpone the preliminary hearing until June 12, and the final hearing on July, and that?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you understood and that you wanted to postpone it.
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and make a motion so we could discuss it. I'll move that we accept the motion for continuation.
A second.
All the authority, please.
Authority Member Bradish.
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya.
Yes.
Authority Member Cole.
Yes.
Authority Member Mather.
Yes.
Authority Member Lavier.
Yes.
Motion is carried. We will continue the preliminary hearing until next month's meeting.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you know, I think there was a clear distinction between the two. The first one, in my opinion, there was no reason why it couldn't have been done. This one has confusion and other circumstances involved in it.
So noted. Next item of business is 17A, rescheduling of the August 2013 Littleton Licensing Authority meeting. I think we have some email traffic indicating two possible dates.
Three possible dates. We have August 14th, August 19th, which is a Monday, August 7th, which is a Wednesday, and August 22nd, which is a Thursday. So we can either move it up 1 week and keep it on Wednesday, or if we bump it back, we're moving to a Monday or a Thursday.
Well, I had 8/19. What was the second date?
7th.
7th, 19th, and 22nd. Kristen?
And there's no other, just because I'm covering all of the hearings, there's no planning board or any other hearings that night?
Not to my
That
knowledge.
would conflict? Okay.
I would ask the members of the authority if anyone has a preference for one of those dates, or...
Now, those 3 dates, the hearing would be held here.
Yes.
Yes, that's the whole purpose for doing this, is so that we can stay in council chamber, because we have been a lot busier and we are having continuations and things like that. And so we really didn't want to have to move to the courthouse or another room that didn't have videotaping capabilities or those kinds of things.
I'm sorry, August 7th?
August 7th, which is a Wednesday, it would be moving it up 1 week. August 19th is a Monday. And
Sorry, August 19th, there is a historic preservation board scheduled. In
okay,
here
so
that night.
August 19th is out. Kristen won't be able to make it. August 22nd is a Thursday.
So we're looking at the 7th and the 22nd.
Yeah, so either a week ahead, keeping it on Wednesday.
Is there anybody here that cannot make one of those 2 dates?
I won't be here the 7th. I'll be out of town, yeah.
Which date is that?
The 7th?
That's a week before.
Yeah, I'll be out of town.
I would prefer the 22nd, personally.
The 22nd would be fine with me.
22nd is fine with me.
We'll make a motion, we move it to the 22nd.
Second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the next meeting is August 22nd, which is a Thursday.
That'll be the August meeting, and I'll post it.
Not the next one.
Yeah, not the next one.
August meeting, I'm
August.
sorry. The next meeting is in June,
I was
as
going to say,
I
you're moving it
understand
way
it.
out there.
Yeah. That's the scheduled business for this evening. Next section is reports. Does the staff have any reports or any issues?
Nope.
Nope.
How about the authority members?
I notice we have Rice is still in here for getting a new liquor license.
They have continued theirs. They'll actually be on the June agenda. They had, they welcomed a new baby a little bit earlier than they thought they were going to, so their schedule has been a little bit thrown asunder, so they asked for a continuation
Oh, okay.
to get things in order.
I thought something was coming. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the chairman has no reports, so I will declare this meeting adjourned.